This is new to the channel. For most of you that don't know, I used to play airsoft back in the day, and I used to go to events around the country before I started flying paramotors, and then once I started flying, I took a pretty long hiatus from doing that. For me, airsoft is great for force-on-force training. I recently got back from deployment, and now I'm able to kind of dive back in. You'll notice I'm in a new shop. This is a temporary location until I either build or buy a new house. All kinds of updates, but I'll spare you all those boring details. Today we're going to talk about sighting in your airsoft gun. This is something that's commonly, I don't want to say overlooked, but not enough time and attention goes into this. And if you're not sighting in your rifle, there's a lot of shots that you could probably hit fairly accurately, but you just didn't take the time, and you're probably missing by just a tad. So for this example, I'm going to use this Aries AM09. The optic I have on here is a Holosun 403C, and then I've got a replica laser. It does have IR. I haven't used it with night vision yet, so I can't attest to the functionality of it. And then I also have a Streamlight WML, and then I've got a pressure pad over here, and then my pressure pad for my lasers right here. So first and foremost, we have to decide what ammo we're going to use. So I'm going to be using 6mm Pro Shot 0.3 grams. Now I don't know the joule rating with this particular gun. I haven't chronoed it with 0.3s yet, but I'll do that next time I go down to Hellhounds. I'll get that all chronoed up, and I'll give those results back to you. But for this example, I'm going to be sighting in at roughly about 14-15 feet. Let me verify that real quick. All right, so I grossly miscalculated. It wasn't 14 or 15 feet. It was 24 feet. So I was off by quite a bit, but I did lay out a tape measure, and I measured from where I'm standing to the box that I'm shooting. But for this example, I'm going to just demonstrate how I sight in an airsoft rifle. This differs greatly from a real rifle because you have ballistics that you account for when you're sighting in, plus wind. Well, there's no wind in here, so this is going to give us a pretty accurate test. Now, the very first thing that I do is load my magazine, obviously, but then I set this up on a steady surface and I fire a group, usually about 5 rounds, with the laser on. All right. Now, the reason I use the laser as opposed to the red dot is because if I'm going to be within 30 feet, there's a good possibility that I might be relying on the laser rather than the red dot, because I want as much field of view as possible. And if I'm looking down the optic, my field of view is going to be obstructed. Now, that's not saying that I don't use this up close, because I definitely do. But for sighting in, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take about 5 shots with this, establish a group, and then I'm going to drive the laser down to that group. Once I get that done, I'll move to a new target, and I'll take 5 more shots with the laser until I've got a group about like this. So like I said, for this example, about 24 feet, I want a tight group, and the tighter, the better. That's what she said. Anyways, once that's done, the next thing I'll do is I'll hold the laser up on a solid surface, and I'll take the red dot, and I'll just move the dot right to where that laser is on the target. Now, one thing you'll notice when you do something like this is that if you have your laser on and you are simultaneously looking down your dot, as you move closer, you'll notice that the two separate and they deviate. Especially, they'll not only move vertically, but they might actually move like this. Because if you look down the barrel, you know, it's inline here. Well, the laser's actually off to the side, so it's going to be off just a little bit the closer you go and further you go. So take that into account whenever you're shooting. Now, when I adjust my hop up at this range, it shouldn't vary a whole lot, but I haven't adjusted it yet, so I don't know what that's going to be. That is going to deviate. So I would say accurately, this gun's probably about a 100-foot gun. I wouldn't give it much more credit than that. But we'll test it out when we go to Hellhounds, and we'll test. I can't do it. I live kind of in the city, so if I start firing this thing off outside, people are going to wonder what the heck's going on. And, you know, on top of that, this is basically bone stock. There's nothing upgraded in this gun. I will upgrade the inner barrel and the hop up so that those things will give me a little more accuracy. But for now, that's a quick down and dirty how to sight in your airsoft gun. If you have any questions, drop them in the link below, and then hopefully it'll warm up soon and we can get back on that thing. I haven't flown very much since I've been home from deployment. Probably, I don't know, twice, and that's not enough. And then hopefully it warms up and we can go ride the motorcycle a little bit. But if you're down at Hellhounds, hit me up and share your footage with me from down there. I don't record on a GoPro, but I would like to see your footage, and maybe we can share it on the channel. All right, appreciate it.